Welcome to the next video in the Norwegian Encore Cruise to Alaska series. In this video, you'll hear an honest and detailed food review of Cagney Steakhouse, Ocean Blue, and all of the complimentary dining venues. Come along and learn what food you'll want to make sure to taste and what to avoid during your Norwegian Encore Cruise to Alaska for the best possible cruise experience. Let's get started with the Observation Lounge, which serves complimentary food twice a day on the Norwegian Encore. When I was researching for my cruise, I found that there was very little information online about what food is served in the Observation Lounge and when, so let's cover that right now. For breakfast, the lounge has a very light continental breakfast of boxed cereals, fruit, and pastries in the morning. Check your daily schedule that is left by your stateroom door for daily dining hours of each complimentary venue. The breakfast in the lounge is not enough to be considered a full breakfast, and there is no hot food available there. While I never ate breakfast in the Observation Lounge, it's the food available in the afternoon there that really makes the Observation Lounge shine. During my particular cruise, the lounge served food between 2:30 p.m. and 4 p.m. The food included a bountiful array of snacks, including sandwiches, fruit, and desserts, that was enough to be considered a full meal. My favorite item by far in the lounge is the veggie quiche, which is large, rich, and decadent. It's the best egg dish served on the Encore within complimentary dining. The next best food available in the lounge is the full spread of fruit, which was in season and delicious during my July cruise. You'll find bowls of mixed fruit as well as individual large slices of fruit, including watermelon, cantaloupe, pineapple, and more for the taking. There are cases of desserts available in the lounge. I was disappointed in the blueberry scone, which I found dry and flavorless. I quickly discarded it and tried the German chocolate cake, hoping to make up for it, but the cake also lacked flavor and was discarded as well. Despite these two misses, on another day I had the green sponge cake and it was a win. It was moist and delicious. I also enjoyed the slices of meat and cheese that are laid out for snacking. All in all, the food in the Observation Lounge was great, and it made for an enjoyable and fantastic part of my Alaska cruise. While the food served is too late in the afternoon to be considered lunch, consider making it your second lunch or your go-to place for a hearty afternoon snack. You'll be happy you did. At Cagney Steakhouse, a specialty dining restaurant, I had lobster bisque soup, filet mignon, and the 7-layer chocolate cake. The soup was average, while the filet mignon was good. The big draw for me to Cagney's was the 7-layer chocolate cake, which was outstanding, very rich and decadent. The piece of cake is large, and sharing may be your best bet depending on how hungry you are. The overall experience of Cagney's Steakhouse is fun, enjoyable, and worth it. My second specialty dining experience was at Ocean Blue, and I enjoyed it the same as Cagney's Steakhouse. The crab cakes are excellent, and the salmon is moist and delicious. I topped off my meal with the key lime pie, which is a small dessert in a circular crust. The crust had a good flavor, but it was a bit tough, and the key lime taste was excellent. The key lime pie is good if you're looking for a small something that's sweet. Others in my party had the vanilla raspberry cheesecake in a jar dessert, which is a very large dessert, and it looked excellent. Depending on how large of a rich dessert you're going for, you may want to try the cheesecake, which the waitress said is ordered the most often at Ocean Blue. Don't miss eating at Ocean Blue on your Norwegian Encore cruise. Local is a casual complimentary restaurant on the Norwegian Encore. The menu is on the limited side. I believe the breakfast excelled, while the food is not very exciting for lunch and dinner. For dinner and snacks, I had the Cobb salad, carrot cake, and the pretzels and cheese dip combo, which I thought were not bad, but average. On the other hand, the French toast was excellent, delicious, and not to be missed. While my first French toast was burned on the sides, I placed another order asking for it to be only lightly cooked, and it came out perfectly. I wasn't sure how the oatmeal would be as far as texture and flavor, but once I ordered it, I found it to be absolutely delicious as well. Definitely plan to visit the Local for breakfast. Now let's cover the Garden Cafe, the complimentary buffet on the ship. The buffet is huge, with many stations and offerings for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. There are stations for pizza, build-your-own salad, hamburgers, Indian food, vegetarian dishes, meat dishes, a meat carving station, soft-serve ice cream, and the list goes on and on. They have stations with fruit and sandwiches. I had the build-your-own omelet for breakfast, and it was fairly good. However, the best eggs in the Garden Cafe, which came in second to the quiche in the observation lounge, was the egg on an English muffin dish. This dish was good because the cheese was nicely melted and the muffin was warm, unlike in the Manhattan Room, which we will cover later. The French toast in the buffet is very good, and the bacon is also excellent. The best lunch and dinner food in the Garden Cafe are the vegetarian dishes and the Indian dishes. The best vegetarian dish by far is the cabbage salad, which is absolutely delicious, followed up closely behind by the lentils, couscous, and tabbouleh. The Indian food was super flavorful, and I returned for many lunches and dinners to the Indian station for the entrees, bread, and the fresh and flavorful cucumbers and tomatoes that they serve for the side. The veggie and Indian dishes are some of the healthiest and best food choices on the ship. While I didn't have many desserts in the cafe, the soft serve ice cream is excellent. I had a bit of the gelato as they have a full case of gelato flavors, and it was pretty good. The Garden Cafe offers an abundant assortment of food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the offerings change a bit from day to day, so it's nice to visit there over time and see what else is new. The overall food quality of the buffet is great. The Garden Cafe was one of my favorite places to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. While I am a big fan of the Manhattan Room, the largest complimentary dining venue on the Norwegian Encore, my first impression of the food wasn't good, as it turned out to be one of the 2 worst meals I had on the ship. The spinach and onion omelet came without cheese, and the flavor was dull and lifeless. I ordered an English muffin on the side, and it was cold as they don't seem to toast or warm those up. However, I'm glad I tried the Manhattan Room again for lunch and dinner several times because the lunches and dinners I had there were great. I also found my very favorite dessert that I thought was the best of the entire cruise, slightly edging out the 7-layer chocolate cake at Cagney's, and one of the best desserts I've had on a cruise or on land. This is the chocolate mousse, which had a wonderful texture and flavor and with bits of brownie inside. I returned to the Manhattan Room to try it again, and it was just as good, but had slightly different ingredients at the bottom, a type of orange jello which was a bit strange, but the smooth chocolatey texture of the mousse is fantastic and a must-try regardless of what version of the dessert is being served that day or night. The meals rotate in the Manhattan Room, similarly to the other complimentary dining venues, but I still had a chance to enjoy the mousse twice. At lunch and dinner, I often enjoyed the Caesar salad, which is really good. I was surprised by the hamburger at lunch, which is absolutely delicious. I also tried the chocolate molten lava cake, which I thought was okay but average. All in all, I recommend avoiding the Manhattan Room for breakfast, as the local and the Garden Cafe far exceed it for breakfast, but the Manhattan Room is a wonderful and fun dining experience for lunch and dinner. Savor is a complimentary dining venue that serves the same food as the Manhattan Room and Taste. Taste is another complimentary dining venue that was closed for the length of my cruise. For the first meal at Savor, I happened to choose a meal I very much disliked, which was the fish. I couldn't eat it because of the fishy, disagreeable taste. I sent it back and ordered a new entree, which was the shrimp, which was good. I had a small, rich slice of chocolate cake for dessert, which was fantastic. I returned to Savor for another dinner and had a great steak. Overall, I very much enjoyed my dining experiences at Savor, minus the one entree that didn't work for me. All of the complimentary dining venues serve water, ice, a selection of herbal teas, regular coffee, decaf coffee, orange juice, and a few other options. These are available for the taking in the observation lounge and buffet during the times food is served only, and they can be ordered with your meals at the complimentary sit-down restaurants, including the Manhattan Room, Savor, Taste, and the Local. Note that the Local is the only 24/7 dining venue on the Norwegian Encore. Hot chocolate is served when you return from excursions. The taste is quite rich and good. It's a fun treat to welcome you back to the ship. For 10 practical dining tips covering specialty dining, reservations, and how to stay hydrated on and off the ship, check out my video, 10 Dining Tips for the Best Cruise Experience, which is linked in the card above and also listed in the description below. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Comment down below what tip you found the most helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'd be happy to answer them. Subscribe now for more videos to come in the Norwegian Encore Cruise to Alaska series, including the ultimate packing guide and luggage tips. Until then, take care. See you next time.